Hello, Facebook friends. Let's talk about the mind. This amazing thing that everyone seems to be in love with, right? It's like the power of the mind. Well, I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, and I'm going to discuss with you the limitations of the mind. Most people don't ever consider that. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that life, creation, reality is actually dual in nature. There's always an up with a down. There's always a night with a day. There's always empowerment with limitation. So no matter what it is that you are experiencing in your life, be it good or bad, then there's always a complement, a contrast to that. So there's always an upside and a downside to everything in existence. I don't need to go into the power of the mind, neuroplasticity, mindset, and all the great things that everybody else is talking about. I'm going to go to the complement and inspire everyone to see a more holistic viewpoint by looking at how the mind actually limits us. So let's get started. Let me pull up my notes. I love this picture here. That is my experience of the mind. Have you ever had that experience yourself? This would obviously be when the mind isn't cooperating. I have to be clear and just put out this disclaimer, which is, like I said, everything has an upside and a downside. That's where the quote, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater," actually comes from. It's realizing that within everything, there's something good. Try to extrapolate that. So my disclaimer is the mind in and of itself is not really a bad thing or a limiting thing. It's just a thing. Our relationship to it determines what it is. Ideally, that's an empowering relationship. What do I mean by an empowering relationship? Well, for starters, it's in right order. The mind knows who's boss, and that's you, your true self, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, that's pulling all the levers, pushing all the buttons, doing the thinking, creating all of it. It's our bigger sense of self. Call it the soul, if you will. It's the operator of this vehicle. And no, it's not the mind that is operating all of it. There's something operating the mind, and that is awareness, the true self. When you have that installed, then you can start to take command of your mind and make it do your bidding instead of the opposite, which I find for a lot of people don't realize they have any command over their mind, is when the mind becomes our master. It's a what's the quote? The mind is a brilliant servant and a horrible master. Something along those lines. So, disclaimer, the mind in and of itself is not limiting. It's how we use the mind, and it's what we allow the mind to do. If we're allowing the mind to think incessantly, like that picture, oh, I pointed right this time. That picture right there, if that's your experience of the mind, that's a naughty mind is what I like to call it. It's not being very helpful. It's definitely not helping you focus. It's not helping you contemplate or do the higher functions of the mind, like critical thinking, rationalizing, strategizing. These are good skills that we can use our mind for. But at the end of the day, the mind is just another tool. Wouldn't it be nice to actually get in touch with what's behind the mind, what's beyond the mind? Wouldn't you like to actually be in the driver's seat of life, running the mind, making it do what you want it to do? It's possible. Three ways the mind actually limits us and what to do about it. Sound interesting? Let me hear from you in the comments. Let's start a conversation And let's make this a worthy topic to study. My battery's almost dead. That was not good planning on my part. Okay, we're going to have to be quick about this then. 3 ways the mind actually limits us and what to do about it. In this live, I will be going over the 3 ways the mind limits us. Number 1, the known versus the unknown. Number 2, the interpreter middleman. And number 3, attention/location. Doesn't make sense right now, but I'll make sense of it for you. It's really straightforward, simple to understand, common sense, really. It doesn't take a lot of critical thinking to figure this out. I would say most of us are overthinking on a regular basis. By all means, please make sure that you've liked and are following to get notification about what's coming up. I want to get in touch with you. I want to stay in touch with you. I even have a list that I'm putting together that I would very much like for you to get on, sign up so that we can have a connection that is not social media. This is important, and I'll tell you why. I'm on Facebook right now, and Facebook has total dominion over its platform. At any moment, for any reason, legal or illegal, just or unjust, Facebook could just decide, you know what, we're done with Keith, and boot me off of the platform. Take my content down, all of it, on a moment's notice. They do this to people all the time. So the danger lies in, if you feel inspired by what I'm sharing here and you want to follow this up with a conversation, start a conversation, gain insight from my firsthand experience. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to share, impart my wisdom, and share my own firsthand experience in an attempt to inspire you to create your own firsthand experience. I will never claim that my firsthand experience is accurate for you or is sufficient for you. By the time it comes to you, it's secondhand knowledge, my firsthand experience, if that makes sense. So I'm here to inspire you to have your own firsthand experience of everything that I teach, everything that I impart, everything that I share. If you can't relate to it, then it's not going to make sense. So as much as you can, bring this home, bring it home. How does this relate to me? How does this relate to me? That was a tangent off of why I wanted you to sign up for the email list. There it is. Join the inner revolution at oh no, that's my old. Yikes. I'm going to have to fix that one super quick. Give me 1 second here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here. I'm just going to give you the right link because I went ahead and made a more professional looking link instead of using my email server. All that's nonsense that you don't need to hear. This is just me talking my way through what needs to happen. All right, let's throw this in here real quicksy. Paste. I'm sure that probably will get, oh, really? I'm sure that will probably get you to the to my list, to my email list, but I want to give you the right. This is it. This is it. No, this is it. Thank you for bearing with me. I really do appreciate this. I know your time is valuable, so hopefully you're doing something else at this moment while I pull up this link. Ta-da! There it is. Oh, it doesn't look good. I'm going to have to put that on scroll. Crawler. Let's get this off of here. Where's it at? Yes, I was going to show you this later on, but I'm talking about it right now, and the dangers of relying solely on social media. So let me just throw that up there so that you can take it down now, and I'll show it later too. So don't worry, it's not going away. And if you want me to show it up again, then definitely throw that in the comments down below. So yeah, join the inner revolution at www. Well, it's not in there. I don't think you need it. That's the right link. The foundfundiscoverymethod.com inner circle. Want to be part of my inner circle? Then get on my list. And when you do, you will be eligible for a free gift from me. I am putting together a simple guide on imposter syndrome. What is it and how to overcome it? Because my ideal clients are entrepreneurs and experts and entrepreneurs. I work mostly online because it's all about small business individuals. Anyway, my ideal clients are experts and entrepreneurs. And so it's important that I lost my train of thought. Isn't that fun? Here I am live and I don't know what I'm going to say next. What was the point I was making? I have a gift. Oh, imposter syndrome, right? My ideal clients are experts and entrepreneurs. And I've heard from a lot of them that imposter syndrome is a real limitation, especially when it comes to providing your firsthand experience, your own expertise, and sharing it with the world. There can be a lot of intrepidation about that. I can definitely relate to it. That's why I put this together. So definitely get on my inner circle mailing list so you can get a copy of my imposter syndrome. What is it and how to overcome it? Take that away and let's get to the meat and bones of this. All right, please drop a hashtag #FoundFun down below and you'll receive a personal follow-up message from me. And it says a gift from me for attending, which is my guide to imposter syndrome. I will direct you to where you can get that for yourself. I want to hear from you. Lets me know that my videos are being engaged with and that people are finding value in what it is that I'm sharing. If you're not gaining any value from what I am imparting or sharing, then I'm wasting my time, because this is not about me at all. Listen to me when I say that. This is not about me. This is about you. You and your fulfillment. You and your personal power. You and your peace of mind. Perfect for what we're talking about, because that picture right there, I'm practicing my pointing, is not peace of mind. But that is the average common experience for most human beings that don't have awareness, that haven't cultivated self-awareness yet. All right, let's get that picture off of there because it's just making my head hurt. All right, I'm cut off here too. That's wonderful. Beautiful. Okay. Yes, I want to hear from you in the comments. Hashtag #FoundFun. Ask any questions. Share any nuggets, any takeaways, anything of value that you're gaining from this live. The more feedback I get from my viewers and my audience, the more I know what to speak about on my next live. And I can start to custom tailor these to my audience's desires and my ideal clients. What is it that they want to hear? I need to hear from you if you want to hear what it is you want to hear from me. That's a tongue twister. Try that one out. Boom. Welcome to the Found Fun Discovery Method. That's the umbrella of my entire business. My entire program is the Found Fun Discovery Method. Within that, I have different strategies and techniques that get the job done. Just to give you a quick little backstory, I came up with this name because really what we're focusing on, what I'm always in every video and in every moment in my life personally and with my clients, I'm focusing on one thing: building foundations of fundamentals. At the very core of existence are fundamentals. You could call it natural law, universal law, natural order, whatever you want to, whatever label you want to give it. It's important to recognize that there are universal fundamentals that apply across the board when it comes to certain things in life. Within that, you have the uniqueness and the individuality of each person and each person's viewpoint. But if you strip away all the complexity and the diversity, you're left with a very bare bones fundamentals. We all have a soul. I believe we do. It's up to you to believe what you want to believe. But hey, we all eat. We all go to the bathroom. We all cut our hair. We all shave something. There's a lot of fundamentals. Those are bad examples of true fundamentals. A fundamental is really an essential part of operating, an essential part of life. It's the essence of it. So not to belittle the idea of fundamentals by talking about shaving and cutting hair. It's more deeper. It's deeper than that surface stuff, quite literally surface stuff. But you could still extrapolate from that there are universal fundamentals. So wouldn't it be wise to study those universal fundamentals? It's like a twofer. You get clarity and understanding on yourself because those universal fundamentals apply to you. And you're getting clarity and understanding on others because those universal fundamentals apply to them as well. You want to understand humans, you want to understand, this has been a really hot topic lately, and that is psychology, the psychology of selling, the psychology of business, and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is really hypnosis, and a lot more of these manipulative strategies for creating results in life. Those aren't fundamentals. They're more of a strategy. Bottom line, the Found Fun Discovery Method. When you focus on building foundations of fundamentals, then all that's really left in life is to have fun. You could say, in essence, that you found fun. Make sense? That was where I was coming from in my clever, creative branding. Let's take that away. Please introduce yourself. Where are you watching from? I love to get to know my audience, whoever it is that I'm attracting to this live. Be it live now at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, or you're watching the replay. If you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments down below. But you can start by introducing yourself too. Definitely let me know where you're from. We have a diverse population on social media. Let me know where you're catching the replay from by dropping a hashtag replay down below. If you do that, then I will make it a point to reach out to you after the fact. If it's a year later, I don't know if this video is still going to be up, but if you're watching the replay a year later, then put hashtag replay in the comments and I will still reach out to you, ask you what you gained, what value you gained, and how you can apply it in your life. This is all practical wisdom that if you're not applying it, then it's not going to make a lot of sense. And what's the point if you're not applying it? That would be the mind, right? I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. But can I actually do it? Am I competent? Am I capable? Oh, it doesn't matter. I know it though, right? That's the most important thing. Knowledge is power, blah, blah, blah. I am going to show you that knowledge is actually a limitation, not power. I see. So, okay. Hey, how's it going there? Good to see you on here. Let me hear from you down in the comments. This is amazing stuff. We are talking about how this brilliant mind of ours actually limits us. I know, it's a shocker, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Hashtag replay. The only thing stopping you watching this video, the only thing stopping you from realizing your heart's desires, not your ego desires, not personally interested in empowering people to fulfill their ego desires. That's a personal job. It's up to you to handle. I'm talking about the heart's desires that we all kind of share. They're very simple heart's desires. They don't have a lot of detail in them. They're things like being loved and loving. Those are heart's desires. Being seen and seeing others. Enjoying life. These are all very simple heart's desires. And the only thing stopping you from realizing your heart's desires is your own limiting mind. I could have put that picture up. Some of you might have saw this picture I found online of a guy walking a tightrope with the bar, and on one end of the bar was the heart, and on the other end of the bar was the mind, and he's just trying to balance as he's walking down the tightrope. That's kind of life, like life, right? And that's the point. You want to get a nice balance between your heart and your head. Eventually, the head just really kind of takes a back seat to the heart. Does that sound like something you would like to have? Let me know down below. You know the drill. Are you starting to get the point here? Are you starting to see that the mind actually can limit us? Good. I'm glad. Most of our problems come from being inside out and upside down. In Italian, they call it sotto sopra. Introducing reorientation. This is part of the Found Fun Discovery method. It's step one. It's a casual step that a person can take to start the process. They will walk away with the new spotting technique and a deeper understanding of the fundamentals. We would do it over the phone in a series of calls. I don't need to get into those details right here. But bottom line, most of us are upside down and inside out. And it's about reorienting ourselves. Most of us operate from here. I endeavor to operate from here. It's about reorienting, right? Most of us are putting the cart before the horse. In this equation, the cart would be the mind. The horse would be the heart. It's what drives everything. All right, let's go back to my 3 ways that the mind limits us. Let's talk about this for a moment. Number 1, the known versus the unknown. This is a very complex subject that you could write novels on and do TED Talks for years. I'm going to endeavor to make it as simple and straightforward as possible because we all have busy lives to get back to. So I'm not going to belabor this point. The known versus the unknown. Let's look at this. The mind is like a container. It stores information. That information is received vis-a-vis our senses, our experience, right? And then it goes into the mind and it gets processed. And now it becomes information that we can access, right? Like people's names, the answers to math problem. That's more critical thinking. I'm talking more about like dates in history, recognizing faces, recognizing locations, all this stored information that comes from our firsthand experience. The mind is a container. When the mind goes to solve a problem, come up with a solution or an answer, where does it go? Into the container of old, stale information. It's not, the mind doesn't have its hand on the pulse of life and what's going on here, now, in the present moment. So what ends up happening is we're referencing the past all the time. And pay attention. Look at yourself. Look at how you operate to understand the fundamentals of human consciousness. How many times do we eat a slice of pizza, meet a person? How many times do we have an experience and then the mind jumps in and goes, yeah, that's like so and so. That's like this and that. That's like this and that. It's always trying to compare, right? Because every time the mind encounters the unknown, something it doesn't know, it starts to scramble and quickly try to turn that unknown into a known by doing all sorts of projecting. And I was talking to a gentleman today. He used the word coloring the experience, which I thought was really interesting. The mind colors the experience. It overlays what it knows on the present moment to make sense of it. That's why it's always referencing the past. It's always referencing that slice of pizza we had in Italy, or that one night stand we had in Vegas. I'm on my live right now. My sister is calling me this second. Crazy. All right, I'll call you right back, Andrea. Where are we at? Known versus the unknown, right? So the mind is inherently limiting because it only operates in the known. The unknown is what happens outside of the mind. It's where life is happening. It's where all the fun is. Really, take a moment to connect to the power of the unknown. You've had an experience of this. I know you have. Either you moved to a new house, new neighborhood, a new city, a new country. Oftentimes when we go to take a vacation, right? We like to pick unknown destinations so that we can go explore. And how exciting is it to explore the unknown? To have a firsthand experience of something that we have no idea of. That's the value, that's the beauty of the unknown. I endeavor to live in the unknown as much as possible because it's in the unknown that we have access to vast resources, way more vast than this little mind could ever conjure up. I'm talking about intuitive answers, intuitive solutions, bolt out of the blue genius, unexpected wisdom. I could go on and on and on about what's out in the unknown, but that's where it's at. As long as you're operating from your mind, where are you at? In the known, stuck. But outside is where the unknown is. And I have a little thing here. I got a couple of these too. Let's throw these up here. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. That comes up on number 2. But here's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I point this out. Hide. There it is. The unknown. I love this quote by Eileen Caddy. It's beautiful. My mentor shared it with me. Cease trying to work everything out with your minds. It will get you nowhere. Live by intuition. Live by intuition and inspiration, and let your whole life be a revelation. Feel into that. This is your first opportunity to not think about something, but actually feel something. Feel into it. Cease trying to work everything out with your minds. It will get you nowhere. Live by intuition and inspiration. Where do intuition and inspiration live? In the heart. Live by intuition and inspiration, and let your whole life be a revelation. Awesome quote, huh? Then I have another one in here. I got to just see what this is. Known versus unknown. This is good. This will relate to that as well, right? This is by Albert Einstein. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. What is he talking about here? He is talking about the mind and how it is inherently limiting. Because I've got everybody texting me and calling me in the middle of my half-hour live. What am I creating? This is quite challenging. Love it. Let's do it. All right. We cannot solve our problems with the same level, with the same thinking we used when we created them. The mind operates in a container, right? It's only the known that the mind has access to. The unknown is outside of that, right? It's infinite. There is no limit to the unknown. So if I'm in this little known bubble, which is quite frankly where the problem came from, right? The problem came from me, and that came from my mind. This basically goes to the understanding that I create my reality. I guess I did preface that a big part of the found fun discovery method is personal responsibility. This would be a great time for you to scroll on if you don't believe you create your reality. However, if you do believe that you create your reality, you're in the right place. Stick with me. Let me hear from you in the comments, and let your whole life be a revelation. That's the point. Bottom line is, if this is where I'm operating from, where the problem originated, I have to get outside of this. I have to get beyond where I created the problem from, right? In other words, solving problems is really not a mental exercise. To do it best is to use your intuition and your inspiration. Some of the greatest thinkers like Einstein, they would have very strange rituals or strategies to get their mind quiet so that they could access that inner voice and come up with really great solutions, radical solutions like the theory of relativity. Thank you, Einstein. Thank you for all of your work in validating empirically for humanity that we do, in fact, live in a relative universe. Relative to what? Relative to me, relative to you, relative to them, relative to them. There is no ultimate reality. I know, it's a shocker. We weren't taught that in school, were we? Number 2, the interpreter or middleman. The interpreter middleman, let's give it the proper title, right? This is the third way that our mind limits us. So like I said, there's the container full of all of our past experiences. You know, it's like a big filing cabinet, right? With all our past experiences in it. So at the moment that we are present, I'm here now talking to you on this live. In this moment, I am present. In order to understand what I'm experiencing out here, most people reference the mind. What does the mind do when you reference it? To understand a brand new experience, something unknown, well, then that's when the mind goes back to the filing cabinet and shuffles through all the things. It goes, well, it's kind of like this, but no, maybe it's like this. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like this. I don't know. It reminds me of that guy I met back in 1955, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe it's this or that or this or this. It's just frantically searching for the answer in a very small and limited container. Past experiences can't access true genius, true inspiration, true creativity. Most creativity is actually copying, especially when the mind's involved. Original creativity. Talk to an artist. I am an artist. I am a chef. But talk to any other artist. And most likely, if they are gifted, they will tell you, well, it's in the word gifted, right? That it's not theirs. It comes to them, like they're channeling it. That's my experience, at least. What's your experience? I want to hear from you in the comments. Excellent. This is another great quote. Kind of like the middleman, right? The interpreter middleman, right? That's the point. He's frantically going through the filing cabinet, and if there was like files in the cabinet, let's say here's a file, right? The mind picks up the file and he sticks it up and he's like, well, it kind of looks like that. Well, I mean, that's good enough, right? So it's referencing the past to make sense of the present and the future. But let's be in the present. The mind references the past to make sense of the present. Does that make any sense at all? I actually want to reference my firsthand experience. My battery's going, dude. All right, the interpreter. That's what the mind does. It interprets our experience. It's incapable of actually experiencing. That comes from our true self. That comes from our awareness. It is a faculty that we have that is dormant in most human beings. It would be called your sixth sense if we gave it a name. And when you're not using that sixth sense, you're using the mind. And if you're using the mind, you've got the interpreter middleman full on trying to make sense of what you're experiencing by referencing the past. Do you get how that's limiting? Good. Give you a quick little example here before my battery dies. All of us have a bully that we can remember growing up. Well, if you don't, maybe you were the bully. But if you weren't, maybe you had a bully. Even bullies have bullies. Anyway, we can all relate to growing up and having some sort of adversary. And that the name of that adversary, that bully, mine was Brian. So guess what my mind does when I meet Brian's? Referencing the past. Here's a brand new person in the unknown, never met him before. They introduce themselves. Hi, my name is Brian. Boom. I'm back then in third grade going, this guy's an asshole. He's going to beat me up. I better watch out. I better watch my back. Can't trust this guy. My mind is interpreting the present by referencing the past. It's like an overlay. A destination, same thing. You know, I could go on and on about this, but I'm not going to. If you'd like me to, let me hear from you in the comments, and I will definitely do that. And I'm going to stop saying the C word because that does not translate well on these social media platforms. That's number 2, the interpreter, the middleman. Here's a great quote right here about that. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I'm right. I do not know that I am. Einstein is admitting how sometimes he feels the right answer, why his mind is not knowing the right answer. There's a big distinction here, folks, between the mind and being present. If you get one thing out of this whole video, let it be that, or at least a willingness to explore what's beyond the mind, so that eventually you can arrive in the present moment. Learn to operate from that space. Life is much richer, much more fulfilling in the present moment. And when you're not in the present moment, it looks like that. No, thank you. In fact, let's just go ahead and hide that. I keep wanting to be in the frame. All right. Number 3, attention and location. So the way the mind limits us is it's really a matter of 2 things. Number 1, attention creates our reality. It is life force flowing from you. When you give your attention to someone or something, what's happening? You're flowing out your attention. It's flowing out of your eyes, it's flowing out of your ears, it's flowing out of your loud mouth like me. Talk, talk, talk. No, just kidding. I love to talk, but I also am aware of judging myself for being too verbose. Anyway, attention is flowing out of us, right? You are paying attention. And if attention is life force, the next thing is to understand that when it comes to flowing that attention, there's also the location from which you are flowing your attention. Are you here now? Are you in the present moment, flowing your attention, just being fully present? When you get present and you're in the present moment, then your attention naturally just flows. It's an amazing thing. If you're in your mind, which, let's talk about this. Location, 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 right? Where's your mind? I'll give you a minute. Point to where you believe your mind is. Yeah, that's it. Right? Most of us would agree this is where the mind is. So if I'm using my mind for everything, especially firsthand experience, like my first date or my intimate conversation with a family member, all sorts of things. If I'm using my mind, if I'm thinking, where's my location? In here. If I am present, then where's the location of my attention? Out here. It's an outflow. Performers can really understand what I'm talking about. When you're in front of that audience, it really does feel like you're just kind of taken over by the moment, the spirit, the purpose of what's going on. And you just feel an immense outflowing of love and gratitude. It's just this beautiful, harmonious thing, right? So number 3, how the mind limits us is the location. Do you want to live here? Do you want to live in the penthouse, the top of your shoulders? Or do you want to live out here in the world? Do you want to actually see what you see? Do you actually want it here? Perfect timing. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Few. Why do you believe that is? Why do you think that is? People are seeing with their minds. People are you can't feel with your mind. This is an interesting fact if you did not know this. They are able to perform brain surgery on people who are awake. You know why? Go ahead. Let me hear some guesses in the comments. I gotta pause a little bit, that pregnant pause. Make you work for the answer. The reason that they can operate on people's brains while they're awake is because there are no nerves in the brain. No, it cannot feel. It literally, physically cannot feel. It's incapable of that. It's actually the processor of that stuff, if you want to get into the physiology of it. I believe it's something else, but anyway, that's the whole point, right? Most people are in here, location, right? Looking from here through a bunch of thick filters. Filters are how we perceive the world. And oftentimes people are walking around like this with the rosy colored sunglasses on, and they're not even aware they're wearing filters. And they're not even aware that they're corrupting the uncorrupted experience of the sense of sight, of the sense of sound, of the sense of taste, sense of touch, right? These are our senses. This is where we collect the information that the mind processes. It's like an accountant. And I'm sorry if anybody on here is an accountant, but it's just not for me. And I just have no idea how people can do such mental things. No, it's a necessary skill, and I appreciate my accountant for sure. That's the three ways that the mind limits us: the known versus the unknown, the interpreter middleman, and attention/location. Got it? So what can you do about it? Three ways the mind actually limits us and what to do about it. Well, clearly, I'll keep that up. Clearly, the simplest thing to do is endeavor to use your mind less. Depend on it less. Wake up your other faculty. Stoke the fires of your intuition and inspiration. Let your whole life be a revelation by just being in the present moment. No thinking required. At the very least, after this video, I would expect that you're somewhat more aware of your own mind and how it operates. If you're not, that is a great first step that you can do, which is simply start observing your mind and how it operates. You'll quickly make sense of everything I've outlined here if you start doing that for yourself. The goal is to break our addiction to thinking, our addiction to the mind. Where am I? Where am I? Not going to show you that. So as we wrap up here, wow, 4:22. As we wrap up here, remember to catch me live here on my profile or page every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do greatly appreciate you watching. I definitely appreciate you commenting. I said the C word again. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. I definitely appreciate getting those hearts and thumbs up, and share this video. Share it with the people you care about. Share it with the people that are struggling to get out of their own way. Share it with people that believe I am my own worst enemy, because this is the reality of that. It's understanding how it is that we actually limit ourselves. I'm always open to new subjects. If there is a particular fundamental of human consciousness that you would like to hear me expound or expand on, expand on, let me know. Send me a message. Drop a word or two down there in that area where you leave a message that everyone else can see. See how I did that? I didn't use the C word. You know what I'm talking about, by the way. I just realized when I say that it could be interpreted by the mind, right? Interpreted many ways when I say I didn't use the C word. This is a perfect real-time example of what we're talking about. When I say to you, I didn't use the C word, what is your mind interpreting me saying? It's referencing the past, most likely. And when it comes to the C word, quite a lot of us understand it to be a bad word. Not in this case, but it's a great example to show you how the mind goes through the filing cabinet and it goes, well, what's he talking about? The C word. Oh, that's what he's talking about. What she said or he said or they said back in 2003. La, 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 la. One more time. Join the inner revolution. www. Basically, the foundfundiscoverymethod.com inner circle. You can find that link on my profile. It's in my bio, I believe. I will double check when I get off of here to make sure that it's in my bio. If you've lost it or you didn't write it down or it doesn't work, let me hear from you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Let me hear for you. Let me hear from you. Self-entertainment. I crack myself up. Oh, I forgot to show you this. And I'm kind of like really proud of it too. Basically, this is the bonus. I'll tell you that much. Some of you heard me talk about integrity before, right? And so when it comes to the mind and our firsthand experience, it's also important to realize that, is it not working? Show it. Show and stream. I want to see it. I can't see it. Let me turn this off. Maybe that helps. Yeah, you're not going to get to see the bonus. You can see it, though. It's on my live from last week where I talked about... What was the subject I talked about? Darn it. Oh, imposter syndrome. Yes, I was getting ready for my guide that I'm putting together, my simple free guide. Get yourself a copy of it. Reach out to me. Let me know that this subject interests you, and I will show you how you can get yourself a copy of that. And it starts you on the right path towards self-realization. Anyway, that graphic is not showing up right now. So I'm going to remove it. And Lordy Lord. All right. I really appreciate you coming on here and spending this hour with me. Holy cow. Remember, I support experts and entrepreneurs making a difference in the world to be more self-aware and operate from a present moment perspective. If that doesn't make sense to you, let me know and I will explain it so that they can have more ease, personal power, fulfillment, and well-being. That's just scratching the surface. There are so many benefits to operating from a present moment perspective. Can't wait to share it with you. I support expert entrepreneurs to be more self-aware and operate from a present moment perspective without getting defeated by the familiar struggles, curveballs, exhausting efforts, unexpected delays that haunt most unaware people every day. I like that. I'm going to do that more often. I do this using firsthand experience and my proprietary new spotting technique as part of the Found Fun Discovery Method via intense one-on-one structured regular practice sessions over the phone and or Zoom. I also have a special offer for those friends of mine that live near me to do some of those sessions in person. Have a wonderful afternoon. Keep observing this mind and how busy it is, how active it is, how involved it is in everything that you do. And then realize that you don't need to have your mind involved in every aspect of life, in every part of life. Like making love. That's a great time to not use your mind. Be well, my friends. And until next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.